I'm joined here today by Anthony Rocco Martin, who's coming off the big win at UFC Moscow this past weekend. Thanks so much for joining me, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. It's great to have you, especially after a big win like that. But first things first, fight took place in Russia. Was this your first time going over to Russia?
Yeah, it was my first time. It was kind of a long journey there because I got my flight got delayed, so I missed my layover. Then I had to take another flight out to Copenhagen instead of from Amsterdam right to Moscow.
How many airplanes did you end up taking? Did you just have the two?
Yeah, well, I had to take what was it, three flights because I flew into Amsterdam, then I flew out to Copenhagen, then Copenhagen to Moscow.
Oh yeah. So how long was the actual trip? Like how many hours do you know?
It took like 25 or 26 hours in total to get there when it was supposed to be about 13 or 14.
Oh yeah. Did that mess with your weight cut at all?
No, I don't cut a lot of weight, so that was kind of the one positive going into it was I was actually went out there a day early already, so I kind of just got there on time. But
Yeah.
and I also have I don't cut much weight at all, so I was eating all the food in the airport, on the airplanes and everything, so I was good.
Yeah, for sure. Did you take advantage of going to this new country? I mean, did you take a few extra days? I mean, well, you tried to take the one extra day. It didn't work, obviously. But did you try to take a few extra days after the fight?
I stayed until Monday because I there was really early flights leaving Sunday, so I was like, and I wanted to go and see Moscow a little bit because I knew before the fight, with the weather changing and all that, I didn't really want to be running around outside the whole time before the fight. So no, I stayed a day. We went out to the Red Square, saw the Kremlin and the White House, and so we did a little sightseeing after that.
Yeah, so how was the weather out there? I assume, I mean, we're in November, and we know Russia is not known for its sunny weather. How was the weather?
So they actually say it's not normally. It was really warm there, so it's really. I mean, by really warm, I'm saying about 50 degrees. But
Yeah.
normally they say it's below 30 in November. So I got lucky. I got lucky. I went out there. The weather was great. Um, the food's awesome there. The hotel we were staying at was awesome. The venue we stayed at, everything just played out perfectly.
And so we know you did beat one of the sort of the hometown guys over there. What was the reception like from the fans? I mean, did you hear anything negative? Because obviously we know you weren't exactly in home territory yourself.
Well, I mean, I was talking a little shit in the middle of the fight, and then so the fans weren't very happy with me. And obviously, we were in his hometown, so any fight goes to decision. They think right away that the hometown guy won and that they got robbed. So it was a little crazy afterwards, where they're like, "All right, let's get this guy in the back and settle everyone down." But outside that, I got a lot of love on social media from a lot of the Russian fans, and so it wasn't all bad.
And so you mentioned the trash talk in the middle of the cage. What sort of prompted that? I mean, was it something maybe you were getting frustrated or confident even? What sort of happened there?
No, so before the fight, I knew that he kind of fights at a slower pace, or just kind of like he only fights at one pace. It's the whole fight is one speed. So my game plan was to be nice all week and nice all camp, entire camp, and then right before the fight started, no one could really see it, but I was talking crap right away. So when they were announcing him, I was walking over to his side, and I kept talking to him, and then but they kept pulling me back. But I was more just trying to get him amped up so he'd fight at a different pace where he's not normally fights at, so that it worked with his anxiety at all. But I'll tell you what, it did not work at all. That guy,
Yeah.
he's like a robot, man. He fought his fight. He wasn't letting any of that get to him under his skin or nothing. He's a great fighter and fought it just exactly how he needs to fight.
And what did you think of your performance? Now, I'm sure you were able to rewatch it. I'm sure you did know what happened when you were actually out there. We saw that the leg kicks were working, but how do you look back at your performance?
Yeah, I mean, I went back and watched it one time. It's usually all I do is watch one time, and then I'm kind of done with the film after that. Um, but I mean, obviously, I wanted to finish. I think that he's really strong. He's really good. And I think that he could beat a lot of guys in the top 20, top 15 in the UFC. I just think that you know I got an ability where I think I'm so good where I feel like I should be finishing those top guys still. But he's also a guy where he's not going to take any unnecessary chances and put himself into any scary positions to take an unnecessary chance where I could get a finish. So that was the part where I felt like I was winning the fight the entire time, and I just needed to just stick to my game. If I fight outside of my game, then I get myself in trouble.
I know we saw that the leg kicks were working for you. It seemed like he had some swelling on his leg. I think it was even turning purple, and the commentators were big on that. Is that something that you noticed during the fight?
I did actually. So it's something that I could see his legs swelling in the middle of the fight, where I was like, geez, like this thing's got to be hurting. But again, man, but what people didn't know as well is that a lot of my kicks were actually my foot was landing only. So my foot was hurting as well.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was like, my foot was really starting to hurt. But then I'm like, then I see it, the legs swelling. So now I'm like, well, shit, forget about the foot. I got to take the shin out. And I was just like, then I fought Jake Matthews. I did the same thing to Matthews, but he ended up being really hurt and dove in. And that's when I got my submission. And I just thought that at some point the guy would go down or do something that was take an unnecessary risk, and I would put him away. But he still just fought through that pain and never thought about changing his tactics.
And when you see his legs swelling up, I mean, you mentioned sort of the plan is, to kick it, make him dive and stuff. Is there any thought to potentially, I mean, getting the leg kick TKO? Is that something that you would be aiming for, or is that something that would be maybe more frustrating than anything else?
No, I mean, obviously, whatever it is, at that point, you're just like, hey, I'm doing some major damage here. This is like, this. You see these kicks are really adding up. So ideally, yeah, like you said, they either go down or they make a bad mistake because they had to protect that shin so much. But he's tough, man. He fought through it, um, and he just wasn't. He wouldn't quit. He had no quit in him.
After the fight, we saw your heartfelt message for your mom and everything. You had a very emotional moment. What went through your mind there when you were sharing that with the crowd, and what kind of prompted you to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was something that I obviously thought about all camp, because we found out maybe about 10 weeks before the fight that my mom now has stage 4 breast cancer. So she had breast cancer like 7 years ago, had the double mastectomy, and they went through all the chemo and radiation, and she was supposedly cured, and then we found out that there's something hurting in her leg for a while, so she went in and got it checked, and sure enough, that the breast cancer has come back, but now it's inside her bones. So at this point, there's no cure for it. So it's just something that I want to talk about. I don't know how much time I have left with my mom. We don't know. They don't know exactly how much time until they see how fast it starts spreading. But it could be years, it could be weeks, it could be, you never know, really. So just one of those things that I'm just gonna appreciate the time that I have left with my mom. I didn't think I'd be so emotional talking about it, but obviously she means a lot to me, and I was happy to get the victory. And now it's I'm out here in Minnesota with my daughter and my mom, so I'm over here gonna start trying to plan some trips now.
Yeah, it's a very scary thing, especially hearing all the stuff that's going on. But you did mention that bucket list. Is it starting to come together? I mean, are there some big plans that are starting to come together on the bucket list?
Yeah, I mean, she's not like, I feel like her bucket list is at such a low standard. So I'm like telling her like, hey, we gotta start ramping this